This video covers exercise 1-17. That's where we're starting. It's on page 1-48. And they're talking about just being able to find more information. So they're calling it a drill down or a trace back. Since your manager has asked you to review the transactions you entered earlier using the income statement. The following instructions will show you various techniques in tracing back transactions. So they want us to display the balance sheet. So in my report center, using my drop down, I'm going to find my balance sheet. And now this is just your regular balance sheet, not the comparative or the multi-period. I'm going to hit create. And I want to make sure that this is my balance sheet for April 30th. So up here where the date is, just make sure it's the correct date. So it's the balance sheet as at April 30th. As you hover over certain accounts, you see that you have a magnifying glass. For example, if I click on my bank account, oh, sorry, they want us to move down to the equity section. So the additional investment account, when I double click on that, it's going to open up my general ledger report for that account. So remember in manual bookkeeping, we learned to go from making our journal entry, posting that into our ledger, and from there creating our trial balance. The software does that for you in the background. So this is when you make a journal entry, it automatically gets posted to your general ledger. So this is what it looks like for the additional investment account. So this report is sorted by transaction numbers as shown in exercise step 1-18. The report can be sorted by date. Using the drill down feature, this report does not display the adjusting entries, which were journal entry 3 and 4. So earlier in the textbook, we accidentally entered that they invested an additional $2,000, and then we realized that it was actually a $3,000 investment. So we made an adjustment to that. Those adjusting entries where things were sort of fixed are not shown in this. So if I position my cursor over the source number field, and bank transfer and double click, it's actually going to show me my journal entry where this was created. So it's just a way to, rather than going back through different areas of the program, you can get to all of that information just by accessing it through the reporting center. In the receivables and payables module, which is chapters 2 and 3, when the journal entry is displayed, you'll be able to see the aged report for that firm if you click the customer or vendor name. So we're not going to worry about that right now. We are just going to look at that when we get to chapter 2 and chapter 3. So for right now, I'm just going to close out of this stuff. You don't need to do anything with it. It was just more information on how to access more information, basically. Okay. So the next step is displaying and printing the general journal. You don't need to physically print anything when it asks you to in the textbook. I am going to do a separate video covering questions about the assignment and how I want things printed and sent to me. So using the report center icon, which we've already used, I want to print my general journal entries. So that is not my all journal entries. There's a separate report specifically for the general journal, and it might not actually be in this drop down. So if it's not in the drop down, I can click on my report center, and that's going to bring up it's going to bring up more options for me. So it's a matter of finding where. Sorry, give me 1 second. Don't always remember where things are. It's been a while since I've looked at them. So under accounts, you're going to find your general journal entries. Hit create. And that's going to open any general journal entries that you've made. So you'll notice that journal entries 3 and 4 are not shown because those are adjusting entries. So we're going to be changing some of these settings. So right now this runs from April 1st to April 30th. I'm going to hit modify and report options. April 1st and 30th is correct. We want the entire monthly period, so we don't want to change that. But what we do want is to check off the boxes to show our corrections and show our additional information. So remember, throughout the chapter, we went in and recorded some extra notes under additional information. We want that to be shown on our general journal entries. So when I hit OK, you're going to see that my report has changed. I now have my additional information shown. I have journal entry 3 and 4, which are the corrections to the initial recording of the $2,000 investment, the correction of that entry, and then journal entry number 5 being the correct $3,000 entry. So I don't really think we need to go through all of the other report options. These are the main things that you need to know. You can change your print settings, you can change your font, you can make things look however you want them to look, but I don't think that that is really imperative to what we need to take away from this chapter. So one thing that you are going to notice is, and I think I mentioned this on the last video, pay attention to the total balance of your debits and credits. When we are showing all of our corrections, our balance is $7,268.46. If I go back in and I do not include my corrections, my total balance is $3,268.46. So that is actually the true debits and credits, but that amount does change depending on whether or not you are including your corrections or not. So just bear that in mind if your amount is different than what's in the textbook or something like that. That is the reason why. So I'm not going to go through displaying and printing the general ledger and all these different types of reports. If you need to print those specific ones, you can look at them yourself, but it's all very similar to what we've already done. So I'm going to close out of here. And that actually brings us to the end of the chapter. There is a section on saving your work. Again, that's something that you can look at on your own, and the best way to do that and to back it up, like I suggested, I highly recommend saving things to a USB drive, especially the work that you've done, and also backing up your data. The step-by-step instructions are provided. Do not worry about exercise 1-25, maintaining a logbook. We really don't need to do that information. So that is everything that you should need to do the assignment. I am going to post one more video with assignment sort of tricks and requirements, and that will bring us to the end of chapter 1.